Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Essentials 40S class. I hope you had a nice long weekend. So today this week we're just gonna work on and continue on with our trigonometry lesson. Last week we did the cosine law. So just to kind of show that here. So this is what we did last week. We did the cosine law, and we focused on the calculating the side, and this is the formula that we used. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c times cosine of angle A. So all of these are the things that we wrote down. I said there's a way for us to figure out, that we're going to use this. Okay, there's like a little trick that I said last time, and I said look for a sandwich. So look for a sandwich. And what does that mean? It means that the given angle, that means something that you know, right? The given angle has to be sandwiched between two given sides. So that's a way to figure that out. So we did just two examples there, and you were supposed to be working on assignment number 3 and assignment number 3, question A, B, and C. I wrote down the solution for this. I know the answers are at the back, but the full solutions are here. I wrote it down. I will post this one as well at the end of the video. So today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue on with this one in here, but this time we're gonna use the slightly different version of cosine law. It's still a cosine law, but it's slightly different because this time we're gonna be looking for a known angle. Okay, so this is what we're gonna be focusing on. Okay, now I know that it's cosine A here, and then all of these work in here. Yeah, sometimes they're written the formula like this, but I usually like the cosine on the left side and then this one on the right side. So it doesn't matter. It's the same formula. It's just that it's reversed. I have my preference, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I just want to point out something in here. If you are looking at your formula sheet, this is your formula sheet. It's the same thing, but the cosine of angle A is on the left side, and then all of these stuff are on the right side. Okay, so here's a formula. I'm going to put a star beside it because it's something that's important to us. Now, how do we know we're going to be using this formula? Okay, so how do we know we're using this formula? So use this formula, okay, cosine law formula, if we have all three sides given. Okay, so this is so easy to recognize. It's super easy to recognize because what we need are all three sides given. Now, how do we know it's all three sides given? I'm just going to grab a piece of paper. I'm just going to write this down. So let's say you have a triangle. Okay, so I'm just gonna call this a cosine law, calculate angle. So you have this side, and this side. So all three sides are given. Now we can call this angle A, we can call this angle B, we can call this angle C, just to kind of refresh our memory. If this is our angle A, then right across from that is side A. Side A. Now, if you're, this is your angle B, we're gonna go look over there, and that's side little b. And then if this is the angle given, we're gonna call this side C. So, oh, side C, I meant side C. So as in this particular case, it's important that we write down all of the right values for the given information. Okay, we can't mix them up. So this is the formula. Cosine of angle A. Okay, cosine of angle A. It's the same thing in here. Like I said, I just prefer that the cosine is on the left side of the equation. So is equals to b squared minus plus c squared minus a squared divided by 2 times b times c. Now, what we're trying to do here is we're taking all of the numerator and we want to make sure that we divide it by all of the denominator. So how do we do that? I'm gonna, when we get into the formula and then the examples, we're gonna see this right away. We want all of the numerator to be divided by all of the denominator. So if we can, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a bracket here, bracket there, so we can say the bracket tells us that all of these in the numerator will be divided, that's the division, by everything in the denominator. So we're going to put a bracket in the denominator as well. Okay, so that's just for later when we're actually typing it in. Now it doesn't show that on here, so what we can do is we can put a brackets in the numerator. So the bracket actually groups them, groups all of these numbers, and then group all of the denominator. Now this one here, 2BC, they don't write down the times, but it's being multiplied. Okay, so in this particular case, I wrote down times in here. So I'll post that on the blog as well. So key thing in here is that we write it in the right form. This is how I remember it. Okay, so key things to remember. See here, angle A, and then this is your angle, and then at the end, it's gonna be the corresponding sides of angle A here. Then that means we're gonna subtract side A. Okay, that's a really neat trick that I think about. Okay, so A and then side A. Okay, so I'm gonna just jump right into the example because I've kind of talked about that one. So let's read it together first. Before I begin this example, I will want to always make sure, and we always have to make sure that we have to check our calculator. Okay, our calculator, when we turn it on, it has to have a degree mode. So calculator in degree mode. Okay, so that's the very first thing that we got to do, because even if we set up everything correctly, and then when we type in our answer onto our calculator, we're going to get something different. So we want to make sure it's degree mode. Here we go. So in this particular case, I'm going to write down the formula here. Cosine of angle A is equals to b squared plus c squared minus a squared. Uh, Here, remember I said that this angle corresponds to that side A, and then we always minus the A there, divided by 2 times B times C. I'm going to put the brackets on the top, the numerator to group that, and I'm going to put the brackets in the denominator to group that. Okay, so we said at the beginning, just in case you're just joining us, it says here we're going to use this formula if we have all three sides. So use when we are given all three sides. And this is an awesome formula, because we could find out, because we have all three sides, the only thing that we're missing is the angles. We can use just all these same formula over and over again to find the three angles. But this is not what the question is saying. So here, this is, okay, when we look at this example 3, it says here, determine the size of the angle labeled theta. So we're only looking for this angle in here. Okay, so what we could do is, because this is our unknown angle, we're going to call that angle A. So this is our unknown angle. We're going to call that angle A. So A. Okay. Now, if we call this angle A, I'm just going to write here, label the theta as angle A. Now, that automatically makes the one opposite there as side A. Now, if this is side A, these two sides could be just B and the C. So it doesn't really matter at this. The only thing that really matters here is the position of angle A and side A. So we can just label B. If this is my angle B, then this is my side B. And then I'm going to call this my angle C. Then that means this is, the 6 is my side C. So let's put all of these information in right there. So cos of angle A, okay, that's our theta right there, is equal to B squared. Okay, well, what's my B? Okay, B would be 9, so I'm going to go 9 squared plus C squared. Okay, well, what's my C? C is 6. So I'm going to go 6 squared minus, okay, I'm following the recipe, A squared. Well, what's my A? 7. So 7 squared. I'm just going to put that in the bracket so that I will remember that when I type it in. So all of that is being divided by, okay, what does the denominator look like? It's 2 times B times C. So it's going to be 2 times B. B is this number, times C. C is this number, 6. And all of that in the denominator are inside the bracket. Okay. So from here, what we can do is we are ready to type this in onto our calculator. Okay, so let's go grab our calculator and then make sure that we put the brackets there in the numerator and put the brackets in the denominator. So let's go ahead and type it in. Okay, so I've typed everything in. I put the brackets where they belong, and then when I get to, okay, I typed in brackets 9 squared plus 6 squared minus 7 squared, and then I close that brackets, and then I press divide, so that's right there in my calculator. So divide, and then I put the brackets in again, and then 2 times 9 times 6, and then I close the brackets. So this is what I have on my screen. It doesn't show all of the thing, but they're all there. So I'm going to press equal sign at the end. Okay, so cos of angle A is equals to 0.62969 and a whole bunch of numbers. Okay, so at this particular point, we're not going to round off. So I'm just gonna write that down. Do not round off. Okay, we're not gonna round off yet. So the question is, well, we're looking for angle A, but this number is actually cos of angle A. So this number is cos of angle A. So how can we get the angle A alone? So the next step that we're going to do is to take the cos inverse. So now take the cos inverse. Okay, so we've done that before. We've taken the cos inverse. So all of these numbers are still on our calculator. And I can go second function, cos, okay, cos inverse, and there's like a -1 up there. So cos inverse, and then type in whatever answer. Sometimes most of our calculator have an answer button. So I'm just gonna put answer. If you don't have the answer button, then you might have to type in all of these numbers, okay, as much as you can. So now we're gonna take the cos inverse on both sides. So cos inverse, what it actually does is it cancels the cos. So they cancel each other out, and we're left with angle A. Okay, so enter. And then I got 50.98 degrees. 50.98 degrees because we rounded it off to 2 decimal places. Okay, so that's it. That's one example. Example number 1. Now, now let's take a look at the next example. Okay, next example. By the way, if you did not get this at all, this number, and if you've tried it, you can send me an email because I know our live chat is not on right now. Just send me an email, and then we'll try to work out whatever the situation is. Okay. So let's take a look at the next one. Again, here, determine the size of the angle labeled theta. So theta. Okay, so this is my theta right here. Okay, I inspect my triangle. My triangle has all 3 sides given. Okay, all 3 sides given. So that means I'm going to use a cosine. All three sides are given. So we use cosine law. And remember, there are two cosine law. We're going to use the one that has the cosine of angle A. Cosine of angle A is equals to brackets b squared plus c squared minus a squared brackets, and then divided by open brackets again, b times, oops, I forgot the 2. I'll just insert the 2 at the front there. Divided by 2 times b times c. Okay, now we're ready. We see this triangle right here. The important thing is that we should write it down, the right information in the right place. So if this is the theta, okay, we're going to call this angle A. We're going to call this angle A. So if this is angle A, that automatically makes the opposite side, which is 16, to be side A. And then these two could be just the B and the C. So we can just say B and then C. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Now, after we've labeled all of these, we're going to use our recipe, our formula, to substitute the values in the right places. So cosine of angle A, so we don't know what angle A is. I'm going to put brackets, b squared. Okay, I got to go here. Which one's my b again? My b is 8. So I'm going to go 8 squared plus, okay, it says here c squared. That's my c. It's 9. So it's 9 squared minus, okay, make sure this is a minus, a squared. It's 16. Okay, so all of that is part of the numerator of our fraction. So we put a bracket in the front and we put the bracket at the end. So that is the numerator. Then we're going to go dividing. Okay, and dividing the denominator. Okay, so open brackets again. 2 times b is 8, times c is 9. So you see that? It's just you're repeating the number again, but no square in this case. Okay, so this is the formula that we're using. This is the substitution. Substitute the values. Okay, make sure it's the right place. Follow the formula. Okay, there's squares on the top and then no squares at the bottom. Okay, now the next step is to just type it in the way you would see it. Make sure there's a bracket. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. That's that. Okay. Good. From this particular case, okay, don't be alarmed that you got a negative number, and that's okay. So 0.770833. Okay, so don't round off here. Um, okay, so and keep all keep the decimal values there, and then keep also the negative. Okay, so don't be scared. It's like, oh my, I got a negative number. What's that mean? Okay, it actually means that if there's a negative number, it's gonna be over 90 degrees. Okay, so that's, we don't have to learn all that stuff yet. That topic is actually talked about in pre-cal 4DS, so don't worry about it. Okay, so what we're just wondering is like, okay, keep the decimal, all of them, and then if there's a negative, keep the negative. Okay, so the next step, we're down to just the last and final step. We don't want a cos of A, we want just an A. So to get rid of the cos, we need to take the cos inverse. Cos inverse, I'm going to do the cos inverse of that. Okay, because the cos inverse will cancel the cos, and then we're left with angle A. So at the last line, we shouldn't have cos anymore. It's just angle A, because the cos inverse and cos cancel each other out. So this is gone now. Angle A is left. So all of these numbers should still be on our calculator. We're going to go second function, cos. Okay, if that's how you do your cos inverse. Okay, and then I'm going to type in answer because I have that button. If you do not have that button, make sure you type in the negative, 0 decimal, all of these, and then press equals. Okay, so this is angle A is 140.43 degrees. Okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna put a little note in here. If you get a negative value, okay, if you get a negative value over here, okay, it actually means the angle is greater than 90-degree angle for the answer. Okay, so that's what it means. So that's it. We've completed all of these. Well, it's just basically 2 examples. Okay, so that's our formula. It's super easy to recognize and easy to do. Okay, so I'm just gonna write that down in here. So use if we have 3 given sides. Okay, and then whatever theta that you have, label it as angle A. So label theta as angle A. Okay, and then once we've labeled angle A and the opposite side, side A. There we have it. We are finished. Okay, so this one didn't take long. So for today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on these questions here on our book. Okay, so on our workbook, we can work on question D, E, F, and G. Okay, so D, E, F, and G. Okay, so there you go. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't be shy to send me an email. Um, so if here's my email address. Okay, so if you are wondering what the email address is, or if you've forgotten, that's my email address. Okay, so thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you learned quite a lot today. So there you go. We're gonna keep working on that one today. Okay. Um, have a great day, everybody, and thank you for watching. Okay. Goodbye for now.